So the assignment, there are some mistakes in the spelling. I couldn't organize. I actually, yeah, this is the old version. Oh no, this is not the one. Let's go to your. Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. I think I did not assign it to myself. Let me check. Yeah, yeah. Oh, here we go. So Tuesday, Lasso select. So there are some mistakes. I couldn't fix it. Okay, the instructions, but mostly 90% is it's correct. Now you were supposed to go on the instructions, and then since I'm going to explain it now, you don't need to read it now. But this is for in case if you weren't in the class. Now this is the image we're gonna use. So first you have to go on Photopea. You do not create a project. So let's go on Photopea website, photopea.com. And then I'm supposed to open this image in Photopea. So how do I do that? The easiest way would be just drag and drop, which means you need to literally drag this image towards the tab and then only release it when you are in the middle of the page. And it's going to open that image for you on Photopea. That's the easiest way. But we also could use save as, so make a right click and then save image as, and it's gonna direct you to your Google Drive, or if there's a local storage on your Chromebook, which unlikely. If it's a laptop, you can save it in your PC, but yeah, as you know, Chromebooks don't have a storage. It depends on the cloud. That's why. Drag and drop would be the easiest way. Now, I'm not going to go back to instructions because I know all the instructions. Now, first thing, so to summarize, you're supposed to pick 3 different objects and copy them on a new layer. So far, I have only 1 layer, you see? Now, I'm supposed to have 3 more. Okay, let me go with the easiest object. Now, I'm going to copy this book. So what I'm going to do is, first tool, what I want to use is called Lasso Select. Sometimes these tools may not be under this tool. Sometimes they're put under this select tool. Okay, so if you can't find this tool, just check under the rectangular select, and it's going to be there listed. All of them will be listed here. It depends on the Chromebook. Okay, so I'm going to go and click select, Lasso Select. This select is allowing me to make selections freely. There is no line, there's no magnetics, nothing, just manually, like you have a pen in your hand and just literally selecting. So we were going to do this book, right? So we're going to just use it's good if you have a mouse. So I'm going to click and then just draw line around the book. As you can see, it's not going to be very accurate because I'm using a mouse pad. So mouse pad is not an accurate way of selecting. All right, Damien, can you please mind your own business? This is like, all right, again. So you have to make full selection. You should not let the, so I clicked on the left button of my mouse pad, right? So you should not let it go until you fully draw a line around this book. All right, and then it's not going to be accurate, unfortunately, because I don't have a mouse. So here, I selected my book, right? So after selection, how do I know it's selected? From the dashed lines around it. That means that indicates it's been selected. Well, now what I'm going to do next is you put your mouse pointer on the area which is selected, and then you're going to use mouse right click. If you have a mouse, you're going to use the right button of the mouse. If you don't have it, if you have a mouse pad, you just need to touch your mouse pad with 2 fingers at the same simultaneously, like this. And it's going to give you this layer menu. You will choose layer via copy because you are making a copy. You're not cutting it. If you do layer via cut, it's going to cut it out, which I don't want to do. I just need to add an extra book's image on a new layer. So here we go. When you do so, you have 2 layers now. So what do I get from this? If you were to switch to move tool, to move the object, and shortcut is V, you would be able to move this book. You see, I have a copy of this book. And I'm able to control it with this layer. Let's say this book is copied and I don't want to see it. I want to move it away from away. you can just make it invisible by unchecking this eye next to your layer. All right, now you cannot see it. You don't see it. It's there, but it's not gonna be on your way. So that's object number one. Object number two, I'm gonna use this paint palette. I could use the same tool, same select tool, but the point of this assignment to use all of it. So I'm not gonna use the select anymore. I wanna try the magnetic one with this one. So what this magnetic lasso tool does is when you do a little click on the edge of your object that you are copying, then you just let go the click and then you just move your mouse around the object and it is going to create those selection lines and then attach them to the edges of your object automatically, like a magnet. So you see, all I'm doing is just moving my pointer around this object. All right. You can make a click once in a while to anchor the selection. Anchor means to just glue it. So you see, that's suggested to do. So I'm going to click here. And then you see now I don't have to worry about the lines being messed up because it's been anchored over there. And then periodically, once in a while, just click and anchor it like this. So you see, make full rotation around the object and then come back to the point where you started. When you close the loop, combine the end and the beginning, it's gonna select that object for you. You see, it's been selected. How do I know it? There's dashed lines around the object. And again, one important tip, you cannot copy it right now. If I try to copy it, it's gonna copy a blank. You see, it says here. It says this area is selecting is blank. Why? Because I am on this layer right now. On this layer, the portion where it's selected, there's nothing over there. You see, there's nothing. So I'm trying to copy emptiness. That's why it's going to give me an error. So how do we overcome that problem? You have to click on the layer where you're copying it from, which is a background layer. You see, I have to select that one. Now, when you do a copy, it is going to copy that selected area on a new layer, layer via copy. Now I have two objects. Let's switch to Move tool by pressing on key V. And then you see I have this object and I have this book. So I have two objects right now copied. Since I don't want to have them on my way because I still need to copy another layer, another object, I'm going to make them invisible by unchecking this eye again. So object. You also can name them. All right. If I were you, I would just name them book. And then this one is paint palette. Right. So it'd be easier to differentiate the layer names. Okay, now we have two objects. Now I need the third object. So this one for book we used lasso select. For paint palette we used magnetic, which like glues or magnetizes and attaches your lines automatically, detecting the edges. That's why we call it magnetic. Now the third tool, which I want to use, is called polygonal line lasso. I'm going to use it for this basket because basket has straight edges, like it has a rectangular shape. So I'm going to use the third option, which is polygonal lasso, which helps me to make selection using straight lines. So I'm going to start from this corner. Okay, you guys can zoom in and zoom out anytime if you use your two finger swipes on the mouse pad. If you swipe it towards the center of your mouse pad, it's going to zoom out. If you away from the center, it's going to zoom in. All right, on your mouse pad. And again, you can use your mouse. So while you're using select tool, you still can move, zoom in, zoom out. You can also move the image to left and right, and so on. If you want to move it up and down, you have to put two fingers on your mouse pad and just use it like you use the mouse. All right. So two finger will move your screen left and right. One finger will use it as a mouse. So that's the tips for using the mouse pad. Now let's switch to select tool and start from the edge here. So you see I'm gonna click on here, start the line, And as you can see now, you see it's making a straight line. So it's straight line based selection. Now I'm going to go line by line. This is my favorite. So if it's a curved edge, you can make small, tiny lines because you are able to fix if there's a portion that's been included. Later, you can fix it, but we're not going to do it today. So roughly make selection, okay? So you see, I'm still continuing selecting, putting the lines around the edges of the object like this. Depending on your image, if it has too complicated edges, it's suggested to use magnetic, but since this doesn't have that much complication, we can just use polygonal line, Lasso. All right, so we're gonna trace it around the image like this. So it's gonna be the third object that we were supposed to select. Now I'm gonna put my two fingers and move the image, which doesn't affect my select tool. And then you're gonna continue. If you do double click, it's gonna end the selection process. So please make sure you don't double click on your mouse pad. Be careful. Sometimes you may double click accidentally. In that case, you'll have to start over. Okay, so here we go. All right, so I'm for the sake of time, guys, I'm not gonna do a very accurate selection. I'll just go roughly, okay, because I don't want to have too many minutes on the recorded session, so I'll just go a little faster. Will not be too much accurate. So here we go, and we're going to end by connecting these ends. There you go. You see, it's been selected. Now again, if I want to copy this selected area, I have to make sure that I am on the original background image where my image is. All right. Only then you're going to use right click and open this menu and then click on layer via copy. Now I have three objects. All right. To see all three objects separate from the actual image, you can uncheck the background. And then you see I have three objects. I can move them around. All right. If I were to use them for design, I would want to add a new layer to it. So I want to add a new layer. I'm not going to have it on top of this image. There will be too much confusion, right? So let's delete this background. Make a right click, delete it. Or you could also do this. You could select the layer you want to delete. And on the bottom of your layer panel, there are a bunch of options for the layer. So I want to click on this recycle bin looking icon, which is called delete. I would delete the selected layer, which is background. Now, since it doesn't have any background, I want to add a blank background to it. Okay, so to add a new layer, you're going to click on this icon. It's called new layer. All right, my new layer was placed between this and this layer. Oh, by the way, this is called basket. So that's why naming is important. You see, so my actual layer is laying between paint palette and basket, but it's supposed to be on the bottom. It should be behind all the layers, because otherwise I'll be covering some of the objects and we won't see them. So let's move this layer down, drag it down, and then color this to a certain color. I'm going to go with, let's pick a color from here. So let's get something bright. For instance, it could be not white, but I would go with this color. Okay. Okay. Then you're going to get paint bucket, which is under this gradient, because gradient and paint bucket are grouped together. So you're going to pick paint bucket after you picked your color, and then just click on the layer. Make sure it's on the actual layer. Yes. So I'm going to click and then give it a color. And that's what you were supposed to do today. So when you're done with it, all you have to do is save it as PSD, because that's the only way I can see your layers. So save as a PSD and just save it somewhere. I will save it in downloads, but yours will be in Google Drive. So let's call it Lasso Tools. All right, and then click on save. and you are going to attach that particular file. All right, that's it for today. So let's end.